Imagine changing one small thing in your engine, the oil viscosity, and unknowingly pushing your engine out of the lubrication regime it was designed to survive in. What if a simple switch from 0W-20 to 5W-30 could shift the entire friction balance inside the engine? Beneath the surface, microscopic metal asperities and oil film thickness measured in microns decide whether components glide smoothly on a hydrodynamic film or begin touching metal to metal. In this video, we're going far beyond the usual internet advice. Using the Strebech curve, oil film thickness equations, and real viscosity temperature physics, we'll analyze exactly what happens when you deviate from the manufacturer-recommended oil grade and whether that change moves your engine into a dangerous wear regime. Lubrication regimes and the Strebech curve. When engineers talk about engine oil viscosity, they're really talking about friction and the fundamental concepts of tribology. If you're someone who cares about protecting your vehicle with real facts instead of marketing hype, hit that subscribe button right now. The Strebech curve plots the coefficient of friction on the vertical axis against a dimensionless parameter known as the Hersey number on the horizontal axis. The Hersey number is defined mathematically as viscosity multiplied by sliding speed, divided by the applied pressure. This simple equation captures the entire balancing act. Increasing viscosity increases the numerator, while higher load increases the denominator and pushes the system in the opposite direction. At very low values of the Hersey number, friction is high because the surfaces are essentially touching each other. As the Hersey number increases, friction rapidly decreases as a fluid film begins to form between the surfaces. Eventually, friction reaches a minimum, and then slowly increases again due to viscous shear within the oil film itself. This divides lubrication behavior into three major regimes: boundary lubrication, mixed lubrication, and hydrodynamic lubrication. At the far left is the boundary lubrication regime. Here, the Hersey number is small because either viscosity is low, speed is low, or load is high. The oil film becomes extremely thin, comparable to the microscopic roughness of the surfaces. Friction coefficients are high, around 0.08 to 0.15. Lubrication here is no longer about fluid properties but the chemistry of additives like ZDDP that form sacrificial protective layers on the metal. In an engine, boundary lubrication occurs during cold starts when the oil hasn't circulated and in highly loaded contacts like cam lobes. As the Hersey number increases, we move into mixed lubrication. A partial oil film forms, separating some surface asperities but not all. The load is shared between the hydrodynamic pressure within the oil film and direct asperity contact between the surfaces. This regime is common in piston rings sliding along the cylinder wall or cam followers and valve trains, constantly fluctuating between mixed and boundary. Eventually, the system enters the hydrodynamic lubrication regime. A full oil film separates the surfaces completely, eliminating metal-to-metal contact. Interestingly, once full separation is achieved, increasing viscosity further will actually increase friction slightly because the oil resists shear more strongly. In engines, hydrodynamic lubrication is the goal for rotating components like crankshaft journal bearings and turbocharger bearings. To evaluate if the film is thick enough, tribologists use the lambda ratio. It compares the minimum film thickness to the combined roughness of the surfaces. This ratio tells us which lubrication regime we are in. If lambda is less than 1, the oil film is thinner than the surface roughness and boundary lubrication dominates. If lambda lies between 1 and 3, the system is in mixed lubrication where partial contact occurs. When lambda is greater than 3, the oil film completely separates the surfaces. The thickness of the oil film increases with viscosity, but the relationship is not linear. Doubling the viscosity does not double the oil film thickness. The actual increase is much smaller. Viscosity is strongly influenced by temperature. As heat increases, viscosity decreases significantly, thinning the oil film and pushing the system toward the boundary lubrication zone. Inside a running engine, oil is subjected to extremely high shear rates. As layers of oil slide past one another, they create internal stress within the fluid. A special measurement called height temperature high shear viscosity, or HTHS, represents this environment. It is performed at 150 degrees Celsius and a shear rate of 1 million reciprocal seconds. A 0W-20 oil might have an HTHS viscosity around 2.6, while a 5W-30 ranges between 3.0 and 3.5. This difference significantly influences the load-carrying capability of the oil film. To provide protection across all temperatures, multi-grade oils use viscosity index improvers. These long-chain polymers behave differently depending on the temperature. At low temperatures, they coil tightly. As temperature rises, the polymer chains expand and uncoil, increasing the oil's resistance to flow and flattening the viscosity temperature curve. Oils with a higher viscosity index experience smaller changes as temperature shifts. Synthetic engine oils often have VI values above 150, offering superior stability. However, these polymers can be damaged. Under intense mechanical shear in crankshaft bearings, the chains can break apart, leading to a permanent loss of viscosity known as shear thinning. Fuel dilution is another factor. During cold starts, unburned gasoline can enter the crankcase. Because gasoline is thin, it reduces the oil's ability to maintain a protective film. All of these factors, temperature, shear rate, additives, and fuel dilution, constantly change the effective viscosity of engine oil during every second of operation. And since viscosity directly influences the Hersey number and the lubrication regime on the Streibach curve, these variations ultimately determine whether the engine operates safely within hydrodynamic lubrication or begins drifting toward mixed and boundary regimes where wear becomes much more likely. What happens if you change the viscosity grade from the manufacturer recommendation? Now that we understand how viscosity changes with temperature and how that affects lubrication regimes, we can finally ask the practical question most people care about. What actually happens if you change the viscosity grade from what the manufacturer recommends? To answer that, we need to look at the two numbers in a multi-grade oil separately because each one controls a completely different operating condition. Consider a typical modern recommendation such as 0W-20, which is one of the most common viscosity grades used in vehicles in the United States today. Now imagine changing that recommendation from 0W to 0 5W-20. The hot viscosity rating remains the same, but at cold temperatures the oil is noticeably thicker. If you plotted viscosity versus temperature on a graph, the viscosity curve for the 5W-20 oil would sit above the 0W-20 curve in the cold region. The important point here is that every viscosity grade effectively defines a span of viscosities across the temperature range the engine is expected to experience. When engineers specify 0W-20, they are designing the lubrication system around the viscosity range that oil will produce from cold start to full operating temperature. By switching to 5W-20, we expand part of that operating viscosity span upward during the cold region. In other words, the engine now experiences viscosities outside the original cold temperature range that the lubrication system was designed around. This matters because cold start is the most critical lubrication period in the entire engine life cycle. When the engine is first started, the oil pump has not yet fully circulated oil and many components operate briefly in the mixed lubrication regime. If the viscosity during that period is higher than what the system was calibrated for, oil circulation can be slower and critical components may take longer to receive lubrication. Now consider the opposite scenario involving the second number. Consider changing from 5W-30 to 5W-20, another very common pair of viscosity grades. In this case, the cold behavior remains roughly the same, but the viscosity at operating temperature becomes lower. If we again plot viscosity versus temperature, the 5W-20 curve drops below the 5W-30 curve once the engine reaches higher temperatures. That means the engine now has the probability to operate in a lower viscosity range than originally specified for high temperature operation. This is important because the engine was designed so that under load, speed, and temperature, the oil viscosity would remain within a certain operating window. When we switch from 5W-30 to 5W-20, we effectively shift the upper temperature portion of that operating viscosity span downward, potentially pushing the lubrication regime closer to the mixed lubrication region during heavy load conditions. Now consider the opposite direction. What happens if someone decreases the first number instead of increasing it, or increases the second number? These changes tend to be less risky because they usually do not push the engine outside the viscosity span it already experiences. Instead of introducing a new higher viscosity region, the change actually reduces the maximum viscosity encountered during cold starts. Similarly, increasing the second number, such as moving from 5W-30 to 5W-40, raises viscosity in the high temperature region of the graph. But this usually does not create an entirely unfamiliar viscosity condition because engines often experience similar viscosities when temperatures drop during operation. In other words, the operating viscosity span shifts slightly upward, but it often still overlaps with viscosities the engine already encounters. This leads to an important principle. The real risk depends on whether the new oil pushes the engine's viscosity outside the designed envelope. Increasing the first number or decreasing the second number tends to shift the operating span into regions the lubrication system may not tolerate well. However, this does not mean that thicker oil is always better or thinner oil is always worse. Once hydrodynamic lubrication is established, increasing viscosity further simply increases internal fluid friction without providing additional protection. So the real challenge is finding the minimum viscosity that still maintains sufficient oil film thickness across all engine conditions. How does OEM choose oil viscosity grade? Manufacturers must balance durability, fuel economy, emissions, and mechanical design simultaneously. The viscosity grade that appears in the owner's manual is essentially the result of a large optimization problem. One of the most important parameters here is bearing clearance. Hydrodynamic lubrication in a journal bearing depends strongly on the clearance between the shaft and the bearing surface. If the clearance is too small, the oil cannot form a stable pressure wedge. If the clearance is too large, the oil film may collapse under load. These clearances are usually on the order of a few micrometers and are carefully matched with a specific viscosity range, so that the oil can generate sufficient pressure to support the rotating shaft. Surface roughness also plays a major role. Even highly polished metal surfaces contain microscopic peaks and valleys known as asperities. The lambda ratio we discussed earlier compares oil film thickness to this surface roughness. The viscosity chosen by the manufacturer must ensure that the minimum oil film thickness remains safely above this roughness level during normal operation. Oil pump capacity is another critical variable. The oil pump must supply enough flow to maintain pressure and lubrication throughout the engine. Pumping thicker oil requires more energy because the fluid resists motion more strongly. The power required to drive the oil pump increases roughly with viscosity. Temperature also enters the equation because oil viscosity changes dramatically as temperature changes. Engineers must consider the entire operating range from cold winter starts below freezing to oil temperatures exceeding 120 or 150 degrees Celsius. The recommended viscosity grade must maintain adequate film thickness across this entire range. Engine speed and load further complicate the problem. High engine speeds increase sliding velocity, which increases the Hersey number. Higher speeds promote hydrodynamic lubrication, but higher loads increase bearing pressure, which pushes the system toward mixed lubrication. The viscosity grade must be chosen so that the lubrication system remains safely within hydrodynamic operation across all speeds and loads. Modern engines add yet another constraint: emissions and fuel economy regulations. Lower viscosity oils reduce internal friction within the engine. Even small improvements in friction reduction can translate into measurable improvements in fuel economy and lower carbon dioxide emissions. For this reason, regulatory pressure has pushed manufacturers towards progressively lower viscosity oils over the past 2 decades. Because of these competing objectives, the viscosity grade recommended by the manufacturer is the result of extensive testing and standardization. The viscosity grades themselves are defined by the SAE J300 standard, which specifies the allowable viscosity ranges for different oil grades. During development, engines are instrumented with sensors capable of detecting tiny vibrations and torque variations within rotating components. Piezoelectric sensors can detect the onset of mixed lubrication conditions by measuring the microscopic vibrations generated by asperity contact. Engineers analyze torque input and output to determine the viscosity that produces the optimal balance between protection and efficiency. In practice, engine wear rarely is caused by viscosity alone. Maintenance habits often play a larger role. Frequent short trips, long oil change intervals, and excessive idling can degrade lubrication quality even with the correct viscosity. Interestingly, switching to a slightly thicker oil can sometimes provide benefits in older or high-mileage engines. As components wear, bearing clearances increase slightly, which reduces the oil film thickness. A thicker oil can restore some of that lost film strength, reduce oil consumption, and improve lubrication margins. But thicker oil is not a universal solution. Poor cold flow performance can increase cranking resistance and delay lubrication during startup. Some modern engines rely on precise oil flow for systems such as variable valve timing and cylinder management. If the oil is too thick, These systems may respond more slowly or operate outside their calibrated range. If you're someone who cares about protecting your vehicle with real facts instead of marketing hype, hit that subscribe button right now. Share with friends the video to protect his vehicle.